This is Shot Put. It's Mii Brawler's only projectile, and it's one of 3 choices he can have. You know what? I can work with this. This is Shot Put. It's Kirby's copy ability for Mii Brawler, and it's one of many, many choices he can have for a neutral special. Being a simple ball that travels in an arc, it resembles the projectile held by Mii Brawler. Shot Put is useful in edge guarding, as the overhead throw allows it to reach much further off stage than most other projectiles. Unfortunately, Kirby's size and speed leaves him not so blessed. Whereas Brawler's high mobility enables him to quickly get into place for a ball chuckin', Kirby has to use multiple smaller jumps to get to the same spot, and that's without mentioning how slow his horizontal airspeed is. This is amplified by the fact that Kirby is small. Being half the size of Brawler means Kirby throws the ball from a lower position, which shortens its range. And I guess makes the ball smaller for some reason also? What the heck? So if Shot Put is held back by Kirby's mobility, what is it good for? Well, looking at Mii Brawler's Shot Put, it does a very respectable 18%, which absolutely eclipses any other fireball type move. But thanks to Kirby having a 1.2 times damage multiplier on every one of his copy abilities, Kirby's Shot Put does 21.6%. 21.6. But that's still not enough to really put it above any of Kirby's other copy abilities, which are usually far easier to take advantage of. You want damage? Forward throw, giant punch, boom, 40%, done. Want an easy way to piss off zoners? Grab their charge shot. Kirby's so short that half of these end up hitting the ledge. Want to give Min players a taste of their own medicine? Here's a free amputation, go nuts. Make no mistake, Kirby is a good edge guarder, and Shot Put improves on that in theory, but against Brawlers specifically, you know, the only matchup in which he can get Shot Put, it's a bit awkward. If Brawler was planning on going to the ledge, Kirby's already got a good few options to deal with that. If Brawler wants to go over the ledge, Shot Put was never going to help in the first place. And that's before considering that Mii Brawler is perhaps one of the most vulnerable characters in the game to Kirby's standard neutral special, Inhale. Seriously man, whenever I get stuck near a ledge, I just let it happen. Brawler falls too fast to escape this. Oh, and I want to clarify that it doesn't matter if Brawler is running Shot Put or Mach Punch or Exploding Sidekick for some reason, Kirby can only get Shot Put for Mii Brawler. The same is true for the other 2 Miis, where he can only get Tornado from Sword Fighter or Charge Shot from Gunner, but if it means one less character ledge trapping with Grenade Launch, then so be it. Unfortunately, taking Shot Put doesn't sound like the best option for Kirby. Unless there's a way that Kirby could, like, cut down on its end lag, he's probably better off keeping Inhale. Fucking what? Shot Put is a slow move. From the moment Brawler presses B, he's committing himself to an animation that takes well over a second to finish. But if Brawler is airborne during the last 10 frames of the throwing animation, then the game just skips the rest of the end lag and lets him act earlier than usual. Cutting the end lag of a second-long move down by 25% sounds great on its own, but due to how quickly Mii Brawler falls, he rarely ever gets to take advantage of it outside of when he himself is off stage. But Kirby? Kirby is one of the floatiest characters in the entire game, so all he has to do to cut down on Shot Put's end lag is jump twice really fast. I'm not joking when I say this makes Kirby's Shot Put feel like an entirely different move. Compared to a move like Mario's Fireball, Shot Put is far from the fastest of its kind. But by being able to consistently cut down the end lag by 10 whole frames, its speed suddenly looks a lot more normal. I can certainly tell that the Brawlers I was fighting against were getting tripped up, because when they saw me using one of their laggiest moves, they tended to run in only to get hit by some shit like forward smash because Kirby doesn't play by their rules. The reduced end lag also allows Kirby to take minor applications of Shot Put and blow them way out of proportion. When Brawler gets launched into the top corners of the blast zone, he can typically throw a few Shot Puts on his way down to cover his landing, and maybe slap 30% on the opponent's percentage if they're not paying attention.
Hold it right there. You wouldn't drop, couldn't drop, you wouldn't.
Again, he falls so fast that he can realistically only get 2 or 3 Shot Puts out before being forced to recover. But Kirby's floatiness and 5 midair jumps just lets him get tons of these things out. Kirby's pretty notorious for camping at ledge, but this feels pretty unconscionable, especially against a character like me, Brawler.
Am I a good person for doing this? I don't think the answer is yes.
So yeah, offstage stalling, that's neat, but surely it doesn't get much stupider than that, right? Do you know what channel you're watching? Thanks to Kirby being able to shave end lag off of shot put, he gains consistent access to an otherwise extremely niche use case: hit stop combos. Hit stop refers to when a character pauses due to hitting a move or getting hit by a move. It's normally just a cosmetic thing, since physical attacks like punches and kicks will pause both the user and the victim, but it's a completely different story when it comes to projectiles. With these, only the victim takes hit stop, which means the user has way more time than usual to follow up with another move. Since hit stop is directly correlated with damage, most of the time, and shot put hits like a truck, it provides a ton of hit stop for Brawler to take advantage of, should he find an opponent unaware enough to get hit by one from across the stage. Unfortunately, as the opponent's damage climbs, it gets progressively more difficult for the hit stop to compensate for the strength of the knockback, until eventually it becomes too much ground for Brawler to make up. Unless he bounces the ball, bouncing shot put changes a lot of its properties. But while it takes a big hit and knockback strength, it still deals basically as much hit stop as it normally does. This means that Brawler can bounce shot put on purpose to give both himself more time to catch up to it and to gut the knockback, which enables follow-ups for pretty much any percent range. And all of this is just what it does for Brawler. For Kirby, who can throw lag-reduced shot puts without being in the stratosphere, is an invitation to hit some powerful moves. I'm talking back air, I'm talking semi-charged smash attacks, I'm talking hammer. Probably not hammer, I'm still working on that one, but still, getting any of this stuff to connect out of shot put is frankly terrifying. Look at the damage it does! This is 2 moves! Alright. Shot put is far from the most effective copy ability Kirby can get. But despite that, it's still fascinating just how much this move changes when put on a completely different character. I'm far from the best Kirby player out there, but I've had a soft spot for how often he takes his opponent's neutral special and burns everything to the ground with it. Seriously, Villager gets insta-killed by his own tree. That used to haunt my nightmares before I switched mains. Is shot put worth it for Kirby? Probably no. Inhale cheese is still super potent against Brawler. But that didn't stop me from having a blast seeing my favorite move in Smash in a whole new light. If this were any other video, I'd probably suggest that everyone give it a try, but that would require actually playing the Kirby Brawler matchup. And,
Oh, am I just dead?
oh my god.
No way. Oh.
I'd rather not force people to deal with that.